For many years, as many of you already know, I have posted quite a few videos of bad shower jobs, and I have gone through succinctly on enumerating all the various mistakes that a tiler, or sometimes a so-called tiler, will end up making. Very often, more often than not, it's a guy, it's either a handyman who's never done a shower before, or it's a tile guy who sets tile very well on a floor, or he does it on a backsplash in a kitchen, but he's never built a shower before. And then he's attracted by, what he thinks is really good money, because he's thinking he can make, a couple $1,000s in a week's time or 2 weeks time, as opposed to, doing a floor or backsplash for a few $100s. And that is a problem. And one of the reasons, the main reason that I do those type of videos is to forewarn other people, other homeowners who are going to have a shower built, who are going to do their shower themselves, who are in the process of having a shower done, and see some of my videos where things have gone south way too late to mitigate all the mistakes that have been made, where it should have been stopped from day one. And they give the guy the benefit of the doubt, and then when they end up calling me, it ends up being 80 or 90% done and non-functional, or just a sloppy job altogether. In which case, I'm happy to do a video, because I want you to know what you don't know. And in this case, it is completely the opposite. I am here doing a little tile repair in another bathroom in this house, and the homeowner has asked me to come in and let them know how to get rid of some of this mold and mildew that is emanating out of the caulking, specifically around where the glass is at. The ventilation isn't that great, but that's one of those low CFM fans anyway, so it obviously needs a little more ventilation. Bathroom windows, as a rule, are not functional, and that's not good either, because the ventilation isn't proper. And that's part of the reason, but that's not the reason I'm doing the video. What I want to show is again, the complete opposite of what I normally show, where things are done wrong. In this case, this guy did an outstanding job building the shower, despite the fact that there's some mold and mildew issues going on, which you'll see as I get into this. But as I first come in, there's only a couple of little minor critiques that I want to make. This tile specifically is what I call a glazed clay, meaning it looks like clay if you turn it around on the other side, and you obviously see the brown on the outside of here. That is the edge of the tile, but the whole back of the tile before the glaze is also this clay type material. So he's using a factory edge on top of the curb, which is not a big issue, but I'm just mentioning it because I don't particularly like glazed clay. And if he was to put it on, I would suggest having put a bullnose on there, and then the clay part of that bullnose, once it was bullnosed off, could be painted the same color. That's the only critique I have about that. But the symmetry is right on. The curb top and the tile here are exactly in the middle, going across. You can see obviously there's a profound slope going into the shower as opposed to being flat, which I often see on guys that aren't doing tile all the time. Again, factory edge, and could have been painted or mitigated somehow with a bullnose, but you can see the profound slope that's on top of this knee wall here, and so that's a great thing too, because that's going to channel off your water going down both on the curb and here. And I'm not seeing that with guys that aren't learned at doing tile work, or specifically showers. Great thing. The bench, again, with the symmetry, and I'm always symmetrically visioned, and so the two tile and then the one in the middle, and even on the top here, everything is symmetrical, and I like that a lot. I'm not seeing really anything that I can critique that harshly, which is absolutely wonderful for the homeowner. There is grout in here, natural stone. I have natural stone in my shower, and I'm not seeing any cracking in my shower, and I'm not seeing any cracking going on here. There are some tilers out there who are adamant about doing caulking after they finish the job, and I'm not one of those guys. There's a reason for caulking, and the reason is not because you have the two planes that are different. This plane is no different than this plane. This has, you know, 1/8 of an inch of grout in there, and that has 1/8 of an inch of grout. So I don't see these planes as being any special or any different or anything that has to be corrected unless there's a reason. If there's cracking going on anywhere where the planes are different, then there's a reason to do some caulking. I'm not seeing any cracking going on here. Grout line's a little thick as opposed to over there, but I'm not seeing any cracking going on there. Despite that, I'm not seeing any kind of cracks. Usually on a curve is where I see it the most, and I'm not seeing anything going on here. Yes, there's some mold and mildew. Yes, it needs to be cleaned up and eradicated and all that stuff, and I'm going to get to that toward the end. But specifically, I'm just talking about all the things that are typical for my videos where there's critiques to be made. There's not here. I mean, I can clearly feel and see that this floor is sloped nicely down to the drain. And that's kind of unusual too. Usually when I go on videos like this or on households like this where the guy hasn't built a shower, he's not doing it right, or if he is, it's sometimes wavy or pools water. The cuts are nicely done around the square drain. You know, it's not absolutely 100% perfect, but it's as good as you can possibly hope for when you get a shower built. There's no obvious cracks or anything. Sometimes I see a tile that's cut right along here. I'm not seeing that. If I took off this plate, which I'm not going to do, I'm sure right smack dab in the center of this tile, there's no cut, you see. There's a hole that was cut out there intentionally, same as the bottom. And that's not done by non-experienced tilers. I'm seeing that this border is straight across. It's flush. This is really unusual. On most of the jobs I go on, it's flush. There's no lippage going on. Going across here, it's flush. I mean, there's a slight bit of lippage on this edge because it was cut, but it's just minuscule. It's not even worth mentioning almost. And I could tell that it's level going across here. So, you know, I'm really appreciating that this job was done correctly. Even to the point where the symmetry, you know, these are full 4x4 tile, and here we have, you know, a diagonal cut that's still a 4x4 tile. So I appreciate that a lot too. I mean, I say appreciate, it's not my house, but it's just so wonderful not to have to do a bad shower video. Again, there's a definitive slope going on here for the niche, and despite the fact there's a factory edge as we had on the outside. So at the very least, you know, put a little touch-up paint on here would be nice so you're not seeing that brown, but you know, that's incidental. That's small potatoes compared to the overall. You know, I even like the fact that this border, I don't know that the math, if we even did the math, but the border just happens to exactly stop here, go across, and you know, it's nice and flush. Not sure I would have done it. Maybe I would have gone up a second row tile, but again, I'm not trying to bash this guy at all. In fact, look at that. And right in dead center, I'm almost positive there's not a square cut of some type. I'm almost positive there's a circular cut right where that nipple is that feeds that hose. So, you know, it's as good as you could hope for. And whatever critiques that you might think are going on here, compared to a lot of my videos that I have on my channel, this is as good as it can possibly be. Now, getting back to the mold and mildew, usually where I find mold and mildew has to do with bathtubs specifically, because the lip that goes up, right? You have the edge of the tub and the lip of the tub, and guys are setting wallboard, sheetrock, or even any type of wallboard right on the edge of the tub instead of the lip, the top part. And then what I see typically on a bathtub area is mold and mildew is getting into the crevice there because it's soaking into the wallboard, and then it's growing mold and mildew. And that's what I thought was going on here, but then I backed off. Because, as I said, the ventilation isn't that great, but also a lot of this stuff needs to be mitigated by using some bleach product. And I'm not an advocate, especially if you seal all of your grout and all that stuff, I'm not an advocate of using harsh chemicals in your shower, but this definitely needs you know, some Tilex or something that has some bleach in it. You know, some of this water stain that's going on here will go away just simply by spraying this, same as this mold and mildew that's growing around the caulking. I don't particularly like silicone. They say, you know, it doesn't beget mold and mildew, but I always see it. And that's what I'm telling the homeowner to do. Do a really, you know, good on all these areas. Let it soak for about an hour or so, and then get one of those little nail brushes, a soft brush if you will, or even a toothbrush, and then just kind of, you know, get out. The bleach will do its thing on getting all this stuff weak, and then your brush will get up the excess. And then if you need a little second spritzing of the bleach product, then by all means. But if you seal your floor, which you should, and I don't know that walls really need it that much unless you have natural stone like I do, but if you seal your floor, try not to use bleach products very much, and if you do, rinse it off pretty much after you've used it, because the bleach will inevitably eat through all that seal that you took so much time putting on there. But yeah, I'm very happy to both to post a video that's so diametrically opposed to most of my videos where I'm just exacerbated all the mistakes, the preponderance of mistakes, and sometimes even a failure. This isn't even a failure by any stretch, but you know, just to be able to show you all that stuff, and you can still extrapolate some information from this, even though there's no mistakes being made. You can find out how a shower really should look when everything is said and done. And so for that, you know, the homeowner is fortunate, and I'm fortunate to be able to show you something different for a change. I hope you enjoyed that video. If you did, then subscribe. Hit that button and subscribe. I make nothing off of YouTube, so please be a Patreon member. I'm going to post a link down below to my Patreon account, and you can donate $1, $5, $10, $20 a month. Just pledge that on a monthly basis. That will help me produce more videos and content so that you can watch and learn from my channel. And donate at least $50 if you're going to call. If you're going to call for advice, donate to my PayPal, please. Donate first, and then feel free to call me or email me for advice. Otherwise, business calls only, please.